welcome back to PA Chalk Up. I'm your host Manny, and today we have Panagiotis. How are you doing?
Hello, I'm doing well. How about you?
I'm good. We've obviously previously met, and we've been speaking on the lobby as well. We met in Milan, and we had some very nice pizza. I
Mhm.
did. I
A
did
lot of
very
pizza.
enjoy that. I think we had pizza every day.
Yes, pizza every day for 3 days straight.
It was amazing. That's what life should be like. um, but obviously, I know a little bit about you and your story. But for everyone listening, if you let us know who you are, what you do, and how you got to where you are, have you ever wondered how I'm able to run my business, my podcast, and still be able to coach? Well, I use TeamBuildr. TeamBuildr is an all-in-one coaching software that reduces the amount of time that we spend on the back end of programming, on our Google Sheets, on our Excels, and allows me more freedom to do testing. With this podcast and episodes, I'm actually able to run some programs that I learned through different coaches coming on. To find out how you can use TeamBuildr and how it can apply to your own program, visit the link in the description and catch yourself a 30-day free trial. Just simply use code PACHOCUP, that's PACHALQUP, and start the next stage of your coaching career.
So first of all, thank you for inviting me to the podcast. I'm Panagiotis. I'm from Greece. The last 6 years, I work in professional volleyball here in Greece, in women's team, men's team, the national team, and at the same time, I work in a private college here in Athens, teaching in bachelor's of sports coaching, in the master's degree of strength and conditioning. I'm coming from an island, from Chios in the Eastern Aegean. I was grown up there. My family is there, and I studied my undergrad degree here in Athens in physical education and sports science. Um, then I did my master's degree in the UK in Loughborough University, exercise physiology, and then my journey pointed me to the United States. I always had this dream to go to the United States. I was very fortunate enough to be called at Altis to do an internship there with great guys like Stuart McMillan, Dan Pfaff, Jazz Randawa, like very known coaches and therapists in the world of track and field, professional teams and professional sports as well. I was there for 6 months. I was mentored by all these guys, and I met all these guys from professional teams and people from around the world. It was a mind blowing experience for me, and um, helped me be a better person first and then a better coach, because I had to understand how things are working and connected together in terms of how to interact with people and how to translate this science into practice, that what we've learned in the university and what we read in books and papers, to put that into practice and into action so I can help the athletes get better. When my internship ended, I worked here in Greece for a year, coaching track and field and working in athletic performance center here in Athens, working with multiple sports and people from every age, from youth sport, professional athletes, basketball, volleyball, football, people who were coming back from injuries or fitness enthusiasts. And I always wanted again to go back to the United States. I was fortunate enough again to get like a research scholarship to go to the University of Wisconsin. But at the same time, I was volunteering for track and field and strength and conditioning while I was there. And again, I was very fortunate enough to be with a group of people that were eager to help me grow and learn. And we had some success with All Americans and um, very good positions in the national championships, both indoors and outdoor track and field. And the last 6 years, I'm working here in Greece with professional volleyball, which is professional, but it's not professional at the same time. It's professional in terms of responsibilities, but it's not professional in terms of payment, so I have to work other jobs. That's why I teach at the private college. In the beginning, I didn't like it, to be honest, to be a teacher and a lecturer. But as I grow and I get older, I realize the value of educate people and how this can help me be a better coach and a better person as well. So I understand the theoretical aspect of some
Hmm.
things, communication, reflection, leadership styles, and all these things. And while researching to make my lectures, I think about, okay, this is how I'm gonna take this one and apply to my team I'm working with, to my athletes I'm working with, and I have to understand these different personalities. So I get them the best possible scenario and the best possible solutions to grow and increase their performance and maintain their health.
100%. I always think that with having the states as an experience and something on your resume, it kind of makes you look at strength and conditioning differently coming from like European countries
Mhm.
where um, a lot of us aren't getting paid enough to do it full time, and those that are have had to work within this industry for like 20, 25, 30 years. So there's always that comparison where like, oh, what's the difference between the US and everywhere else for S&C? It's the US have this like importance on
Mhm.
S&C. It starts at high school, collegiate, and then every pro team will have one. So it really makes you see the importance of it. But then you kind of get back, and I think we've spoke about this when we were in Milan. It's like, how can we take that experience and apply it to our own countries? And
Mhm.
it's like it's that uphill battle with it. In terms of like what you've just said with having the college job actually makes you a better practitioner because you're having to think about the methodologies a little bit more in depth, how you apply them. What's some of the things recently that you've kind of looked at and you're like, oh, actually, let me see how else I can apply this.
During the first year students, I teach a class which is coaching principles. And when you listen about coaching principles, maybe most people understand specificity, variability, progressive overload. Okay, we teach us this part, but at the same time, we give them information about communication, leadership styles, reflection, and assignments are. To some extent built into, okay, we need to make sure that we know how to create and design a training plan with all the training parameters inside, but at the same time we need to know how to communicate that to other people, whatever age group we are coaching, and then understand what mistakes we do, how they happen, and how to correct them. So the reflection process around a training session and some problems that might occur during a training session are very critical and very important in order to understand what we do, how we do it, and how to improve things. And like from what I've read in the literature and in the research so far around this area, with all the stages that the reflection process has, okay, we put some things into action, we do the mistakes, then we are trying to solve the mistakes, we form a hypothesis of why something happened, how we can fix it, and then we have some possible solutions, different solutions that we need to apply into action. And in the future, we know that for this occasion we have a plan B. For the other occasion, we have another plan B, or we need to have, before we start the training session, a plan B, a plan C, a plan D. So if there are some problems that happen on the spot, we know and we are adaptable and flexible. So after thinking all these things and how to teach them to students, because they are first year students, they are coming from a different background from school. The program we are teaching is based on a UK program, UK's university program. So we have to deal with another educational style and another background
Mm.
of culture and people that they are having. So for me, at the same time, having to deal with the structure of the university's program, the people I have in front of me, and the literature at the same time, and what I have to teach helps me understand these concepts better and how to apply them not only for the students so that they can get the best possible knowledge and application of these concepts, but at the same time, it gives me the opportunity to reflect and say, oh, maybe before I start my training session, okay, I have my plan, but what happens if a guy today has pain somewhere? Or what if
Mhm.
coach says today that we are changing the structure of the practice? So I need to be adaptable and flexible. And after the end of the day, when something happens, good or bad, I reflect back. I say, okay, maybe this time, next time, I will have to change this and this. Have more options inside my program. What if my players are not moving the way I want them to move? So I try to structure my training based on what I have done in class, even on the same day some days, because
Mhm.
this class is first semester and I usually teach in the morning. Between I might have like lifting session with my guys after I have the court session. So I'm gonna go to the team after and say, okay, maybe today I did this one in the college. I said about this thing, so I need to be more cautious about some of these concepts when communicating with the group of guys I'm coaching.
With the college, how much practical do they get compared to theoretical?
Unfortunately, okay, the last few years we have the facilities now to support more practical application of these concepts, but unfortunately, the classes happen once per week and it's
Mm.
usually a 3 hour period. So during this 3 hour period, we have to cover lecture and the theoretical aspect of the class. We have to prepare them for the assignments, especially if they are in early years, and we need to spend some time doing practical application of teaching concepts about warm-up, some lifting techniques, cool downs, how to structure and design programming. So okay, practical is not only always doing
Mhm.
an exercise, but creating a training plan or creating a periodization plan, put some things into some order and some place on Excel or
Mhm.
whatever template that we can use to give them this knowledge. So we try to focus on giving more attention now to the practical application, but at the same time make sure that we cover what they need to do for the module and for the assignment, so that at least they have the minimum information that they need to move
Mhm.
forward and complete successfully their assignments. Just imagine that during COVID period, we were doing all classes online. So we are talking about the program of sports coaching, and we were doing everything online. So this is how the teacher, the educator will find solutions, uh, still to put some practical things into these online classes and help the students get better and understand these concepts more.
How difficult was it to teach during lockdown for you?
Um, Look, in the beginning it was difficult because, with the attendance and people not having access to computer or cameras or microphones. And for us as well, where we had to, okay, I'm teaching training programs. How I can teach training programs only with an online class? I can put the theory with strength, power, programming, and all these things, mesocycles, microcycles, into a very nice lecture with graphs and tables and a very good presentation, which I'm not very good at it. But at the same time, I need to give them examples and say, okay,
Mm.
maybe today we stand up and we are in our living room or somewhere in our home, and we open the cameras and we teach some techniques, and we give some points
Mhm.
about some exercises and some other concepts of training and programming.
With you kind of touched on earlier, and it's something that I love to talk about. It's the cultural differences between different countries and how they kind of all merge together to try and create this program that is more individualized, is more focused around making sure that everyone gets the stimulus and training that they need. How does that sort of apply to your volleyball teams and the way that you've sort of coached?
It's nowadays this last few years that I put it on my lectures and my slides. I have this graph of coaching and all the aspects and the sciences that coaching has to deal with. So we are not only talking about anatomy, physiology, nutrition, and all these things, but we are talking also about sociology, pedagogy, psychology. So understanding better the culture of a person and communicating with him, so we can get the best possible answers, will give us more room and more options to create his unique, individualized, and specialized training program to match his needs and his goals. And for me, when I got to the UK for my studies and to the United States, and I had to deal with people from different countries, different cultures, even with people that they could not talk English. Okay, I know my English is not my native language, but I had experience with people who, Asian people, Japanese people, Chinese people who I love them. I could communicate it with signals and demonstrating exercise with them, but I could not give them details about the exercises. So I had to learn by myself, do mistakes by myself, and say, okay, this is a problem for me. I need to find a way. It's not a problem for them. The problem is for me. I have to find a
Mm,
way. It's not that the athlete has to adapt on me because of this language barrier, because I had the language barrier as well. It was not only for them, it was for me as well. So I had to find solutions and understanding communication and gestures, body language is a very good way to teach somebody a concept and give them information. So if I am happy and I'm energetic and I give them these gestures to the athletes, uh, maybe I have more of their attention, so they can
mm,
understand better what I'm saying. And at the same time, like I teach that to the college as well when I have to deal with people with different religions. Um, for for example, Muslims when they have their Ramadan and they have these different eating habits and they don't eat throughout the day and they can only drink water, or I have to understand that and plan my training accordingly and communicate it with the coach as well. There might be a problem there, the athlete might not feel that for energy, so we need to give them some more options and we need to adapt the training session to suit better for them, so not only we can help him maintain his health and increase his performance, but at the same time we need to show that we care. We need to show that we understand his individual needs, his habits, and respect them, and show that we care. That okay, for example, today we're gonna give you more rest between the sets. Today we're gonna give you more less load, less work. So I know, we know you are tired, you are exhausted, you are maybe dehydrated, you don't have enough energy. So we need to adapt our training session on this kind of challenges and difficulties
mhm.
that might occur. And it's something that one of the things that one of my mentors said that everybody is talking about this one. You don't People don't want to know how much you know, but how much you care. So from the
Hmm.
moment you show that you care, you get a buy-in, and you don't only find an athlete that you can coach, but at the same time you can find a person you can be friends with, and from interacting and communicating about things in life, their family, their background, their upbringing, you can better understand what you
Hmm.
can apply for them in terms of training.
100%. I think we spoke about this as well. It's like, and it's exactly what you said, that the cultural differences and language barriers are one of the biggest ways you can see it. But like, because we've seen so many athletes do movements and so many different variations of the same movement, when I'm showing a movement and the athlete doesn't understand it, I always like to say it's not their fault, it's my fault,
Yes.
because I've not demonstrated it or communicated it in a way that they understand and that they can apply it to their own learning process. And again, I speak English. I also speak Portuguese. So like, I've never really been somewhere that I've not 100% know. Actually, that's a lie. Germany. That was that was hard. Germany is hard. um, but I've always been able to get by because I have good English or Portuguese, where I can understand Spanish, Italian. Um, you know, I can sort of get by. But that's really interesting, where you have completely different languages that you're not understanding each other, and you have to go signals, and you have to go very like primal type ways to explain it to each other. And yeah, I mean, again, we've spoke about this, so it's something that's always very reassuring when coaches are like, yeah, like, if the athletes aren't understanding it, it's me, I'm going to switch it up so that they do understand it.
Mhm.
I think that's one of the most important things, and it's kind of bringing me back to another point that you made. It's having that ability to explain things in a way that's easy is the true meaning of mastery of that certain thing. Like, if you can explain something well and the people understand it, you by your own right become a master of that thing, because you've been able to communicate it with someone that doesn't know it, and you've made it so simple that they now do know it. If that
Mhm.
makes sense.
Yes. I believe that mastery is a two-way street. It's the way of understanding the concept and the theory behind it and applying it into practice. And in terms of our profession, like you said before, movement-wise, we need to know the theoretical aspect and the biomechanics of a sprint, the lift, angles, kinematics, kinetics, but we need to understand and know how to teach it, understand these concepts, because we are dealing with people with different backgrounds, different age groups, so we need to understand how to cue and how to give feedback for this specific person with language barrier, experience, less experience, more experience, less maturity, higher maturity, all these kind of things. So, and it's very important, like you said, for the athletes and the people who we are coaching to understand that we are capable of doing that. We are capable of
Mm.
finding the right words for them, for their age, for their experience, for their maturity, but at the same time, make sure that we can execute and demonstrate the exercise. And I like what people are saying. We need to practice what you preach,
Mm-hmm.
talk the talk, but walk the walk at the
Walk the
same
walk.
time.
Yeah.
And if I cannot persuade my athletes that I lift weights, I do my sprints, I am taking care of my recovery and my nutrition, how I can persuade them how to do it and when to do it. And at the same time, it gives me practical application of what I can do and how I can give them more information about it. If I don't do it, no matter how much I know about the theory and the knowledge and whatever the
Mm-hmm.
books and the papers say, if I don't apply it to myself, I'm kind of like biased to say to them, okay, this is what it is. You just do it, and hopefully it works. It's not like this. We need to make sure that we understand what we do, how we do it, why we do it, and we give them the knowledge and the information they need based on their level, their experience, their maturity, and all this information.
100%. And I think so. I always have a big beef with textbooks and research papers, and it's something that I've dove into quite a lot. And it's making sure that everything that I'm reading is applicable to the field. If it's not, I just tend to scrap it. But if I see that the paper has potential to be applicable, I usually read it a couple times and like really pick out what is used and maybe explain like on a piece of paper or something different ways that could work.
Hmm.
Again, I'm a little bit psychotic in the fact that when I get demonstrated a method or shown a method or a principle or whatever it is, I like to make some programs off the back of what I know from them. So that teaches me like, okay, here's this principle, here's this method, here's three different options I can do from that one thing. And like the best example I can give is when I was in the States, I was demonstrated manual resistance.
Hmm.
Now, something very simple. You have a partner, you try and resist the pressure that they're putting on whatever limb, whatever joint, whatever movement it is. So off the back of that, I went home and I was like, okay, let's make an upper body, a lower body, let's make a total body. And they all have to be different. And that was just like the little beginning part of okay, if I now have no equipment, here's already three sessions I can do, or here's three different progressions or regressions or whatever it may be that I can do to implement a stimulus while I don't have any equipment. And I think it's those things that I mean it takes time. It does take time and it takes effort, but the payoff is so much better because you already start like theorizing these concepts and figuring out how you can use them.
Three observations about this. First, that one of my mentors, Stuart Macmillan, he said to me once I was there was I was struggling about understanding these coaching guy things and how they could see
Mm,
things in fast actions and. He said it's very easy for us to teach you the technical skills and give you all the technical information, but on communication wise you need to understand it by yourself and you need to understand who you have in front of you and based on their character and personality you adjust and you give them the information and I like science and I like reading about training concepts and all these things and it's crucial that we have all this information because we put them into boxes. Okay,
mm-hmm,
we know about different concepts of periodization or different training methods and modalities and techniques. The best thing that we can do is to understand which one suits the individual we have in front of us, which one suits to our philosophy, our personality, our character as coaches, and which one matches with the demands of the sport, the period we are at the same at this specific time. So science and research give us so
I feel.
for these kind of things, like my mentor Stuart Macmillan will say that we can teach you all the technical elements and the technical skills, but communication wise, you need to understand by yourself how you can match that with each person's personality and character and give them the information. The second thing is that what I like about science and research is that it giving us the boxes and the tools
Mm,
to understand different concepts of periodization, different training modalities, different training techniques. So we adjust and we plan accordingly to the individual we have in front of us, the demands of the sport, the period we are in, but at the same time, what our character, our philosophy, our personality fits better. So we give them these best possible solutions and scenarios around all these different tools that we have in our arsenal. And now that you said about manual resistance, it reminded me of some sessions I do in the beginning of the week, only body weight, only with partner, and I can see how people understand different concepts, because usually we are in the weight room, we do our warm up routines and so on. But from the moment I put the athletes do some manual resistance with rows, pulling and pushing
Mm.
each other arms, you can understand who understands movement more, the tempo of the movement, if it's slower, if they feel it more. I tell them, like, guys, you're gonna have a great pump after with this
Mm.
kind. From the moment I say about this, everybody's more focused. Everybody's doing the exercise slower. Everybody's having a great time with these exercises because we are having fun at the same time. So all these things and concepts, how we apply them will give us the best possible scenario and the best solution. So we get the job done. We activate the players. We check the box of strength training for the day, but at the same time, everybody's having fun. The coach sees that the players are engaged and they are taking some things seriously. So if this happens during the warm up, it sets the tone for the rest of the practice as well.
100%. And I mean, it's also a great thing that you can teach your athletes is like how to feel their body and how to maneuver their way around what they should be feeling when they're doing specific movements. Like I think it was Vernon Griffith that explained this. I think it was. If I'm not wrong, it was like um if I'm doing a squat, I'm not going to say, can you feel that in your squats? Or can you feel this here? Can you feel this there? I'm going to ask them, like, where do you feel that? Without prompting any other specifics to where it could be. It's like he's just like, where do you feel that working? And they'll like point to a body part or they'll say whatever they think that muscle is. And that's a better indicator to if they're doing it right or wrong.
Mm-hmm.
And it's making sure that even like, I mean, we were in the same workshop. We have very similar um teaching styles where we like to simplify everything down to its bare minimum. So it's like even our rewarding has to be simple and not give too much away so that we can get that feedback and we can get that like question answer going on. And I mean that's why I don't tend to get very heavy on the science during these conversations, because I could it would be very easy for me and you to be like, oh, what do you think of 90 degrees on the squat hip hinge, and what's your true 90, or what's your true whatever it is, what does a calcium pump do, what does the ATP system, what does it go through? Like we can do that, but I would much rather us sit down and go through coaching principles and coaching methods, like the practical stuff that people can actually listen to this, take away from it, and be like, okay, let me, from what I've heard, let me apply it the way that they've said it, or let me apply it the way I think they like meant it, and it kind of creates that show and tell where now you've got this coach and experience. Now it's getting shared to people that can potentially do it as well. Like that is much better than me and you geeking out about whatever science paper we've recently read or what we think it means. Does that make sense?
Yes, and I believe that like complementing what you are saying, it okay. It's important for us as coaches to be able to differentiate what feedback and cues we can give them. And I like the work of Nick Wickelman with internal cueing and external
Mm,
cueing, and using like our body parts or the interaction with the ground, and in order to teach different concepts. But at the same time, we need to educate the athletes about self-exploring the movements,
mm-hmm,
which means that we are not on the side with our hands like that with a um, passive image. So self-exploring is not about being passive about something, but give room for give the opportunity by educating the athlete. Okay, I'm giving you the information. Now I'm gonna sit down for the set. You're gonna do your reps. Not gonna give you information during the set, and you tell me how you feel,
Hmm.
what you feel, how you do it, and how you don't do it. And I like for younger athletes to use the system of Dr. Yeses with 1 by 20, because they are, if you properly give them the information and the education on what we need to do, from the moment they start to get tired, they will start adjusting their movement.
Hmm.
So this not only will help them get stronger, but create a better quality of movement as well, like long term. So understanding all these different concepts of training modalities, training methods, and how to communicate and educate the people you have in front of you about things that have to be done in a certain way, not only it will get you the buy-in, but it will get them become better persons and critically analyze concepts and what they are feeling, how they are feeling it, so they can translate it better into life or in their sport. Because sport and is a micrography of society. So in the interactions we do, I say to my athletes and students, I don't want to give you only the best training interventions and increase your performance and give you knowledge, but at the same time, I want to make you valuable members to the society.
Of society, yeah. And it's that whole thing of building a human, not just an athlete.
Mhm,
Like it's very easy to be like, okay, let's optimize every second of your life to higher performance, but we'll just not teach you responsibility.
mhm,
Like we'll take care of everything, or ownership of their performance. Like if they're professionals, they know that they have to go in and train, and it's expected. If they don't, there should be some consequences, whether that's on the field where they lose and they get beaten really badly, or nothing wrong with a little punishment exercise.
mhm,
You're professionals at this point, or money deductions, whatever. I mean, I think, and it's very simple things. It's like time management, consistency, leadership, just skills that if they don't make it, because if we're being honest, not everyone is going to get the professional contracts, the next levels, and whatever else. If they have an office job, they still have to perform. Like
mhm,
that's there's still metrics that they have to reach. There's still things that they have to do to make sure that they're successful. And it's, I mean, I this industry isn't just about making you faster, stronger,
mhm.
more explosive. It's not. It's not.
I remember I was in church the other day, and the priest was giving his talk for the people, and he said he was saying about the relationships between employers and employees, and how this concept is translated to our life and religion as well. And he was saying that everything in this life would be better if employees could do their work better so that they can get a reward, and if the employers would give them job satisfaction and the right motive and their salaries, let's say, or their benefits on time. So as coaches, we need to make sure that we give guidance, but we give them time and space to understand what they can do and do their mistakes. The athletes do their mistakes, but at the same time, we need to make sure that we understand the athletes. Um, we understand their needs. We know their individual differences, their individual characteristics, and challenges they have. Because we are not working only with professional athletes that from the moment they wake up till the moment they go to bed at night they think about this one, but we are dealing with people who just want to be more healthy, We are dealing with amateur athletes. We are dealing with kids that they have other responsibilities, jobs, students at school, students in the university. So stress accumulates from all
Mm.
these things, and we don't understand. Okay, we've been students in the school, in the university, but at the time we are coaching, it's about our ego. We don't understand
Yes. Yes.
what stresses they have, what the challenges they have. So if we put our ego aside and look the individual into the eyes and say, I'm here for you and I understand what your difficulties and your challenges are, because we need to know also the physiological aspect of stress. What stress do you do your body with cortisol and insulin and all these hormones? And actually, there is a research, if I'm not mistaken, but from Dr. Brian Mann, and they were researching the effect of examinations and the stress that accumulates to injuries that happen during this period of high training workload. So we need to understand these concepts, and there is research showing that okay, we are dealing with athletes, but student athletes at the same time, and we need to adjust and be flexible to all these situations. So uh, everybody is happy, everybody succeeds, everybody gets the credit, and we work together for a result, for something. It's not my work and your effort. It's not your work and my effort. It's both at the same time.
Mm.
We work and we try together for the best possible outcome. And I believe that there is not a bigger satisfaction for a coach to see their athletes' success, not only in life, not only in sport, but in life in general. And they call you up on when they sign the next
Hmm.
contract, or when they go to the college or in the United States, or they get called up in the national team, and they say thank you. And after a few years, they invite you to their weddings, the birth of their child, and this is the biggest satisfaction that we can get. Okay, money can buy us houses, cars, equipment, open gym facilities, but
All to come.
at some
All to
point
come.
everything stops and everything ends.
Yeah, that's all to
But the
come.
satisfaction remains.
100%. I think it's. I mean, I do think that when we're talking about stress, it doesn't matter if it's physical, mental. Stress is stress, and
Mhm,
you have to accommodate for that within your programs. Like, I spend a lot of time speaking to collegiate coaches that not only have their athletes performing at a Division 1 level, but they've also got, like Division 1 schools tend to be quite well funded, quite good programs educational wise. So like they're also getting some really high end education where it's very stressful, it's very demanding. The exams, the pressure, everything is there. So if we look at total load management, like we need to account for that. Like
mhm,
if say their load will give easy percentages, if their load is usually like 80 to 85, but then they've got like exams coming up and we're maintaining that 80 85% total load, their exams they might take them over to 130 140.
mhm,
So like then they finish that period, they make it through, and then they become ill, they become injured, they become, and we're kind of like, how did that happen?
mhm,
Like you didn't properly deload them or reduce load enough for them to make sure that they could keep taking over while all this other external stressors were happening. And it's, I mean, I like to talk about load a lot, and it's, and again, I've just gave the example of the extreme end range, but you also have to think about like the not enough load. So if you have a team of 10, 12 people, five of them sit so it's, sorry, if we go 15 people, 10 play on court, five are on the bench. The five on the bench still need to achieve the same load as the people on court. So after workouts or after games, I'm going to stress them a little bit more so that they can step in when they need to. And it's, I mean, load is a big loaded topic just now, and it's, again, it's mostly going towards the reducing load, but then you get athletes that aren't able to finish a game. They have to be subbed off. They're not able to finish a season. They get injured or they become ill. I get you. People sometimes hate when I say this, but you need to prepare your athletes to not only play their game, but play an extra half or an extra
Mhm,
quarter,
mhm,
because that's where you're going to win games. Is the
mhm.
athletes that can still perform the same on minute one, on minute 90, or minute 80, or minute whatever it is.
And for us in volleyball, that you know that it's based on sets and points. One game can finish 3-0 in 45 minutes, 60 minutes, and everybody is done in 1 hour. But you might play tie break and 5 sets and play overtime in sets, and you can play a game for 3 hours. And
Hmm.
we need to make sure that we prepare the athletes for these kind of scenarios as well. Not only to handle like the physical goal, stress during the game, but the mental as well, because we might be
Hmm.
winning 2-0 and we might lose the game 3-2 after. And from the moment you
Yeah.
start from the moment you start winning, oh, everything is working perfectly, and you see the flow of the movement, and it's like seeing Bruce Lee, and inside the court there is flow. But from the moment you start losing and you start seeing that something is happening wrong, then you see one mistake leads to another mistake. There is
Yeah.
no communication between the players, between the coaches. You can see the reactions from the bench, the coach, myself as well. So we need, if for me sitting on the bench, I cannot play the game. I need to be there for the athletes. I need to play the game from a different role
Hmm.
from the outside. And if I clap, if I shout, if I give my hand to my teammate and say, well done, bravo, bravo, when something is happening wrong, or I say, keep going forward and let's go, next ball, next play. You don't know how the athletes will understand this one. So, in a difficult
Hmm.
situation, it's about us keeping our composure, it's about us keeping our the control and the calmness, so we can properly lead and guide to overcome this difficult moment. And this year has been a roller coaster for me and my team with results, and I have been in games when we are losing 2-0 and we win the game. I have been in games when we are winning 2-0 and we lose the game. I have been in games when we start bad, we start playing well, and then there is fluctuation of performance. And whoever keeps the composure and their calmness, no matter the mistakes that they will do, they will win the game. So uh, it's not always in sport. Okay, the better team wins, but the most able team and the most
Hmm.
capable players to not only maintain a certain level of technical and tactical proficiency, but mental preparation, and be there for the moment. And as coaches, we need to understand these kind of things and help with some techniques, and with the interaction and the communication. Again, see, we are coming back to the
Hmm.
communication side. Uh, to give them some guidance and information on how to handle even stress,
Hmm.
and monitor load with all these things. So we can see in questionnaires and watches and GPS load
Yep.
and stress. And but if we don't interact and communicate with the athletes that we have in front of us, we don't really understand. Because I slept 10 hours today, RP of the training was 5, but it becomes 10 because I know that they had a dispute with a family member, or
Hmm.
they had a test, they didn't sleep well, all this information.
100%. And I think it's also the thing of there's so many different tests that we can do, so much different data that we can gather. What does it really mean? And why is it important for them? Like if I I'm a firm believer that if you're testing something, it has to accumulate to something on the back end. Like if I'm touching my if I'm testing my athlete to jump, it's for a very specific reason. If I'm doing certain percentages or metrics on VBT, has to be for a specific reason. I'm not going to test or introduce sorry, training stimulus without having a proper reasoning for it. I mean, I also like to geek out with VBT or force plates or you name it. But why am I going to overload myself with more data than I can
Mhm.
handle just because
Mhm.
it's fun? Like let's be smart. And I think people like to overcomplicate everything that we do in this industry. And this industry is so easy if you stick to the fundamentals and you use them well that you don't need all this high tech. It helps. Like if you know your athlete's sleeping schedule, how long they've slept, how well they've slept, like it does help. But if you don't use it properly, you may as well just not use it and just wing it.
Mhm. Yes. I remember Dan Pfaff was saying that we need to write our programs with ranges, like let's say 3 to 5 reps, 80 to 85% of
Mm,
1 rep max, or in terms of 1 meter to 1.2 meters per second for VBT, because we are taking into account, without knowing, the stress of the people. And if we give them a range of 3 to 5, they will say, okay, today maybe I'm feeling more like 3 reps because my schedule, my sleeping patterns, and it's gonna be okay. It's not that it's gonna be the end of the world if you don't do 5 reps, because we know the science of doing 3 reps and 5 reps. Okay, maybe the ideal is three, but we need to take into account minimum effective dose for a certain exercise or loading parameter, or whatever we are thinking when we write the program, so that the athletes won't feel discouraged. Oh, I'm gonna do less. Coach will say that I am lazy. No, no. We give them ranges. We need to give them the education that this is why we do it, this is what we do it, and how we do it. And in the end of the day, if they choose to do less work because they don't feel like it and they are tired, not because they are lazy, they know that we are there for them to support. We support them, and we will congratulate them even more that they can understand their body and make this manipulation, like what I was saying before about self-exploring.
mm, yeah,
So this is part of the job. And okay, we know how science work. We know how training works and the basic principles. And if we stick to them, we're gonna be successful. And in some occasions, data are very complicating to understand and to implement specific techniques and tests, but keeping simple stupid,
yeah.
like what the industry is saying, and communicating well with the athletes, and understanding what they need to do, we're gonna have amazing results. Either we use force plates or monitoring tools and everything else.
I do like the keep it simple, stupid. I actually spoke about that yesterday on another episode that I did, and it's like I spoke to Coach Mike Boyle about this as well, and it's. I mean, he's done it at all levels, and he's built this empire on what he's already accomplished, and it's even he says like just stick to the fundamentals, like look at what they need, what buckets they need filled, fill them, what buckets they've already got filled, maintain them, and I mean just there's only certain ways that your body can move as well. Like your bicep can only flex and extend. your tricep can only flex and extend. Like it's apart from that, it doesn't move in any other way. So like all these exercise variations are cool, but they're not necessary. And I get and I agree with the stimulus and the progression of exercises to make it more difficult. Like I get that principle and I believe in it. But if an athlete is just looking to become a better mover, there's nothing wrong with getting them on a goblet squat,
Mhm.
like exploring deeper ranges, moving in ways that make them feel nicer. They don't necessarily have to squat, but there would be a push pattern in there somewhere. I think people get tied down and bogged down to specific exercises like deadlifts, squats. So when I say squats, I mean back squats. Um, like they get married to this way of exercises and exercising. But if a guy comes in and he can't back squat because it puts too much pressure on whatever, I mean, there's nothing wrong with leg press. There's nothing
Mhm.
wrong with loading them with a kettlebell, making them squat in a box, making them. I mean, on a Swiss ball, you can just roll down the wall up and down. It's very there's barely any pressure on that. So it's yeah. I think that people try and overcomplicate it because they're married to these systems. Don't have systems. Have
Mhm.
principles that you. Okay, this is a different conversation that I've had. Um, so I was speaking with a coach that's putting a presentation together, and we've all heard the toolbox. You've got a toolbox, and everything you learn, you put more tools in there, and whatever else to help that imagery. I'm trying to come up with this like imagery of a toolbox, but there's different levels to this toolbox. Like there's three levels. Okay, top level is the tools that you use every day, like you will tap into those every single day. The second tier is like your methods, your things that you've read about, don't know quite yet how to figure it out and put it into your program, but you've got them there. They're there. Your third one is like your application of them. Like, okay, if I know that this tool I've got here doesn't quite work with this athlete, let me go into that drawer and see what I can use instead of that tool, instead of whatever else. So it's kind of like giving these layers to what we do, because like I like this podcast because I learn different principles and different methods and different ways of doing things every single day. So
Amazing.
my toolbox is always getting new
Mhm.
tools, but I've got this toolbox with all these different tools, but I like organizing systems. I
Mhm.
like systems that, okay, this is what happens. Here's my plan A, here's my plan Z. I need all of those plans to match so that I can just go in and sort of flow in between them.
And at the time, it may be the difficult and the challenging part, but long term, it will uh, be less extra hours of work because
Hmm.
you already have done it, and based on what you know from the person you have in front of you, you can give them the best possible scenario. And like you said before about these different exercises, body does not understand if we are doing back squat, front squat. It understands load on specific muscles and specific joints. And we as coaches, we are the ones that get bored from having one exercise in our program and we want to change it. Okay, I understand the specificity and muscle contractions and time of the year, but we want to vary it more than what we should based on what the athletes need in their everyday routine and day-to-day
Hmm.
life, and with whether we are pre-season, off season, in season, peaking, or whatever. And recently I read this book with from Adam Grant, Think Again: The Power of Knowing What You Don't Know. And the earlier we are in our life and our coaching stage, we wanna over complicate things, and we see these different methods, modalities, equipment, and we wanna use them. But as we progress in life, we understand what works, and we stick to the basics. And if we properly communicate that with the athletes that we have in front of us, we're gonna be just fine. We're gonna succeed, and everybody's gonna be happy. At the same time, he had this in the book. He called it this Mount Cupid.
Mm,
We have been in the top of this mountain, and now we need to get down and understand what actually we need to do. And okay, I understand the part. Everybody has his own ambitions, and as coaches, we want to get success, and obviously, we are in this sector to help people, in my mind. But we want to achieve something. Somebody's up for the money, somebody's up for the glory, somebody's up for the cool photos with the championships
mm,
and
the logos.
the trophies. But we need to understand exactly why we do things, and not having like overconfidence, but not underestimate ourselves like I do with some things. We need to know, be realistic, understand
Mm,
what we are, why we do some things, how we do it, and still we are in the industry of helping people, either to maintain health or come back from injuries or increase performance. So it's about our why, it's about our philosophy and the system that we use to improve others. So we need to dig deep into us first, and
mm.
then come out and use all these principles, these modalities, all this science and knowledge to help others achieve their goals.
100%. It's always having that why. Like, why are we doing this? Why is this important to me? And I think if you can answer those, like, you're at least, even if it's just for the money and the glory, I mean, you're still doing it for a reason.
Mhm.
You still have that. And again, like, goals are so individual, so very specific. I think it's unfair to judge people on what their goal is because it's their goal. It shouldn't really matter to us what what their goal is. Um, Within your programming, what are some specifics that you like to have in them, and how do you apply specific principles to your athletes and programs?
I like to stick to basics because, like Leonardo da Vinci said, simplicity is the ultimate sophistication. It took me a while to understand it, but being in this industry for a few years now, I want to stick to the things that work.
Mhm,
There is some room for, okay, what new science and new research says about some modalities which I'm trying to apply and see how it works into my to my areas, and I experiment myself with some ideas I have, but I try to stay to basic principles, and at the same time understand the needs of the sport, what movements and what energy systems my the sport I'm working with or the person I'm working with has to deal with, and at the same time communicate with the athlete about their training history, what they like to do, what they don't like to do. I have some athletes that told me, okay, I don't want to do Olympic lifts and power clean and all these things. Okay, I need to find different exercises to work on power and have the same outcome. Or there are people who are injured, and some they have either a recent injury or some injury that happened in the past. So I need to understand how to give them solutions to increase their level of health and bringing them to the level of performance that they were before. So one of the first things that I do when I go to a team or a new athlete comes to a team I'm working with is having a conversation with him, understanding their history, what they like, what they don't like, training history, injury history. So they need to understand from me as well that I value their opinion. I'm gonna have my arguments. Obviously, somebody will tell him, I wanna do bench press, and the doctor has said not to do bench press, for example. And I will give them arguments, valid arguments, not because I say so, nor because the doctor says so, but understanding, let's say, some biomechanics, some anatomy, with not a lot of details, but giving them how a movement works within their body, will give them the best possible argument on what they do. If they get the buy-in, perfect. If they don't get the buy-in, I'm gonna back off a little bit. I'm not gonna let them get injured, obviously, but to some extent, I wanna let them feel what they are saying and what they want to do. Somebody wants
Mm.
to do best bench press, okay, you do it my way though. You're not gonna do it your way and put all the weight you can work and do half reps or do 3 sets of 10. Let's do it my way, and you're gonna stay healthy, and you're gonna perform well. I had an athlete who came to me in the beginning of the year and said, I put a bet with a teammate of mine and a friend of mine in the previous team. Whoever benches first 110 kilograms this year. We managed to do 120, and he signed a new contract with another team with 20% increase in his salary. So I saw the outcome of the exercise or his work ethic because he wanted to do it,
Mm.
how it paid off on the court and with his professional career as well. So it's about balancing. Okay, they like to do some things. Science says that they don't want to do that. They don't have to do some things, but if we find a solution,
Yep.
then we can increase performance, we can increase satisfaction, we can achieve whatever goals we have and maintain our health.
It also makes it so that if the athletes ever need you again, they know that, hey, he actually increased my performance. Let me reach back out and make sure that I can still get that same training, that same thing to keep my performance going. And I think that's, I mean, I don't believe that your time with athletes is just limited to the time that they're in that specific team or in that specific organization. Like it should transcend more than that. If 10 years down the line I get a message from an athlete of mine being like, hey, just to let you know, this is where I'm at, or this is, I, although I'm not in sport, but I'm still active, I'm still healthy, I'm still doing the things that you taught me. Again, the way I look at coaching S&C is that even if they're not with me, they should still be able to program for
Mhm,
themselves.
mhm,
Like, as weird as this is going to sound, my job is to not have a job. Does
mhm.
that make sense? Like it's
Yes,
to
mhm,
teach them enough so that they can then go on and do it themselves.
exactly.
In terms of what you've got going next, what's the next moves for you in terms of um education wise and performance for you and your athletes?
So now we are finishing the season. We have one game left for like standings in terms of what which position we're gonna finish. So we have the last game in 2 weeks, and so now I'm focusing on that, so I can help the team and the athletes achieve their goals. Then I'm gonna have a little bit of my rest for physical and mental recovery after
Rejuvenation.
like a long season with ups and downs and stress, and then start to plan with the off season, if I'm gonna stay with the same team, if I have offers to go to some other teams. I'm always looking for good projects that not only will help me grow professionally, but help me personally interact with other people with different levels, different sports, and offer my expertise and my knowledge to a big range of people. But like being in a team and competing has obviously some bad moments and stress, but there is a lot of satisfaction. And for me personally, uh, like being like the clown within the team, where I celebrate, I shout, I have this hype mentality. I want to keep doing that. I feel good when I
Mhm.
motivate my athletes and I see them smile well when I'm energetic and I do all these things. So I need to find balance to what's the best possible solution and scenario for me to keep moving forward in the next years. Education wise, I think after some years, uh, like my parents want me to do a PhD, so I'm looking into PhD so I can put some ideas and theoretical things I have in my mind in terms of coaching and programming and all these things into like action and research, and see how they work. And nowadays, like the minimum standard to work in a high performance environment is having a master's degree. So if having a PhD will get me a better position and increase my status, and at the same time gives me knowledge and more tools to use within my practicing experience, it will be amazing. But first, it's time for rest.
Yeah.
Take a while, sit back, relax, reflect on
Mhm.
what
Mhm.
happened, things that worked well, things that didn't work well, not only in terms of programming and exercise and so on, but reflect also on interaction and relationships with people. Uh, what did I say to somebody? Why I said that? How I
Mhm.
can say something else, for example, in the future. And we only talk about like our job. We don't talk about decisions we do in life and
Mhm.
uh, choices that we do in life with our personal life. It's based on reflecting on what we do in terms of our job. Like world is a fast moving environment and things happen every day, health wise, family wise. So we need to take into account all these, like the athletes with their stresses. We as coaches, we have to take into account all these different parameters. And I feel that this year maybe I experienced burnout a little bit.
Mhm.
So I think I want to back off uh, for a few days, because if I sit one day, I get bored immediately. I have a day off and I say, what I have to do. And now that Easter is approaching, I'm gonna go home. I'm gonna say, okay, 1 day, 2 days, I can sit. The third day, I'm gonna be
What's a piece of advice that you would give to new coaches or people wanting to start becoming an S&C coach?
find a mentor, find a good mentor that is going to be a good person first, that wants to teach you. Obviously everybody has his bias and to some modalities and techniques, but find a mentor that will give you guidance, to put some things into order, and then get your hands dirty as much as possible. Volunteer to your local club, unpaid work, part-time work, interact with kids. You learn a lot of things working with kids.
Mhm. Mhm.
We think sport is only about professional athletes, and okay, my education and my background and my ambitions are around this one, but this is not the end of the world. There are other positions that you can offer and you can get satisfaction. So, and you don't know who you meet in life. And like us now, we met in a workshop in Milan with our good friends with the Italian Strength and Conditioning Society, and interacting with people, and the conversations we have with
Mm-hmm.
younger practitioners. You can give advice, and you can get advice from everybody, understand different aspects of working environments and life. And so find a mentor, get your hands dirty, interact with coaches, network with people in congress conferences, and be yourself.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Don't try to pretend you are something else than what you are. Be yourself, do your mistakes, and good things will happen in your way. Okay, stress, we're gonna stress about it, and things won't come the way we want or the time we want. But when you are, I don't know the definition of a good person. When you
Mm-hmm.
care about what you do and you like what you do, good things will come to your way.
100%. And during that workshop, we did spend a couple hours just really sitting down with people and kind of unloading everything that we've we've ever done and the mistakes, and I think that's where the reward is. It's
Mhm.
when you can sit down and people like ask you like, this is what I have going on, like what's your experience with it, and what would you recommend, like what's your principles, like what's the things that you must have to run the program. And I do think, I mean, I do this to give back as well. Like I get to sit down with some phenomenal coaches and some people that perhaps don't come on camera quite a lot, so I'm able to record it and then put it out there for everyone else to watch. Although it's, I mean, I've always said that the podcast is very selfishly for me because I love learning, but I get to do it in a way that I record it and I put it out there for everyone to watch. Like
Mhm.
that's my way of giving back some of the experiences that I'm able to have, and that everyone else can tap into as well.
I remember when I was younger, like I wanted to reach out to people, and some would reply positively and meet
Mm,
with people, and some not. So I was getting discouraged. But there are a lot of people who helped me. Some like common people that we know, like Kostas Hadjichristos. Like I found him here in Greece. It was the person that. Was doing what I wanted to do. So I reached out to him, and he was very kind enough to help me work for him in the facility he had, write me reference letter. So you don't know what you're gonna get while interacting with people. And
mhm,
like I said, I was very fortunate enough to have people like him, and my mentors in the United States, like Stuart McMillan, Jazz Randawa, Dan Pfaff, Josh Ireland in the University of Wisconsin after that helped me a lot. So I want to give back. So you come to me, you text me on social media, or you find me on the street, and you want to talk about something. Let's do it, let's go for it. uh, so and this is a satisfaction. And
mhm,
sometimes while interact with these people, I get emotional because when I say some things, it reminds me some things that happened in my life. And it gives me motivation to become better, and be a better person and a better professional.
100%. I agree. And I think that's where we connected on a lot of things. It's, and there was the last day that we were there, we were just ourselves and we kind of just had dinner and really reflected on everything that we'd been through and sort of are currently experiencing and whatever else. And it's that thing where, I mean, it's also not just a transactional relationship. Like we care deeply about things that are going on in your life, my life, and it's that, it's kind of building this like brotherhood and sisterhood around this industry, and like keeping the people that you really like close to each other, and just like experiencing different people and exposing them to different people as well.
Mhm.
Perfect. I appreciate you so much for coming on today.
Thank you for the
If you,
invitation. Like,
it's all good.
I
It's
really
not.
enjoyed the talk.
Thank you. It's a podcast I've been trying to do for a while, since January. You've been very hard to track down and get, but I did it. But if you let everyone know where they can find you and reach out to you and speak to you.
Social media, like Instagram, LinkedIn, shoot me a message. I try to reply as much as fast as possible I can. Be patient, uh, but I get back um, to everybody.
Perfect. Thank you so much for coming on, Pana.
Thank you very much for your time and the invitation.
Peace.